NATO has held an emergency closed-door meeting at Turkey's request after one of its fighter jets was shot down by Syria. Well, the alliance has condemned Damascus' actions, but fell short of calling it an attack on the whole bloc. RT's Tesa Arcilla is now joining us live with more from Brussels. Tesa, the U.S.-led alliance rarely holds emergency meetings. What's come out of this one?
Well, it was a very short statement at the end of this closed-door meeting. Essentially, NATO said that Syria's downing of the Turkish jet is unacceptable, and NATO condemns it in the strongest possible terms, and also that it stands by Turkey in a show of solidarity. But let's remember again that this emergency meeting was called by Turkey under Article 4 of the founding treaty of NATO, which states that should any of the members feel threatened, it can call a consultation. And it has to be said that any action under Article 4 should be a consensus, and therefore any one of the members could stop any joint action. We know the Dutch government, for instance, has explicitly said that any question of military intervention is out of the question for their government. And this is very much different to Article 5, which Turkey had wanted. They wanted NATO to actually invoke Article 5, which is harsher and stronger, which states that an attack on one member is an attack on the whole bloc, and therefore military action is inevitable in that case. And it's only been invoked once, and that is after the September 11 attacks. Clearly, Turkey wanting stronger action here, but that's not what they had gotten. Now, in terms of what had actually happened between Syria and Turkey, both sides maintaining that they are right in their assessment. Syria saying it acted in self-defense, that the jet had crossed over into a Syrian airspace, and therefore it had every right to shoot down a plane that it saw as a threat. While Turkey, on the other hand, said that it was simply a mistake. It was testing its own domestic missile defense, and that planes cross over into others' territories all the time in that region. Now, there hasn't been any official investigation into the matter, and therefore at this point it's just Turkey's word against Syria. Historically, two countries that had good relations, and it has soured in recent times, especially since Turkey is said to be keeping some Free Syrian Army rebels in the country, and also a lot of refugees from Syria. If there's any conclusion we can get from the statement that NATO had made today, it's that it reiterates what we already know. It's at what side they are on, and what side they will continue to support should the confrontation go on.
This international row has somewhat pushed events inside Syria out of the headlines. What's the latest that we're hearing from the conflict zone?
Yes, it did push Syria out of the headlines just for a short while, though. But what we're hearing from the ground is that there has been no stop to the fighting. In fact, some classifying the recent fighting as the heaviest seen so far. And this is just around the capital, Damascus. So again, as the international community continues to debate and figure out what step to take, Syria, the conflict on the ground that involves a lot of the civilians just getting caught in the crossfire still continues, and there seems to be no end in sight for now.
All right, RT's Tesa Arcilla live with us on the line from Brussels. Thanks, Tesa. Now, Turkey claims its downed jet was unarmed and was on a training flight testing the country's radars. But that of an independent Syrian media outlet says Ankara could have been spying on Damascus.
It happened one day only after the infamous defection of one Syrian pilot. It could be that they were testing, and it was not a missile. It was actually anti-aircraft artillery that shut it down with a maximum range of 5 kilometers only. So what was the Turkish Phantom doing 5 kilometers away from our land over our territorial water? I don't think that NATO or Turkey have any legal justification for putting any more pressure on Syria. It's something else that the jet was doing there, perhaps recording or trying to spy on the Syrian army's movement in that area, because that area is a kind of a hot area. For a jet to be this close to the Syrian borders, it was actually an offensive attack of some kind, at least an intelligence one.